Now, DisChem is calling on caregivers as well as parents to ensure children's routine immunisations are up to date. It follows a measles outbreak in Tshwane. Gauteng reported 5 cases last month. So let's bring in Lizeth Kruger from DisChem joining us this morning. Good morning to you, Lizeth. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's talk about the outbreak. Is it a call for concern at this point with 5 cases so far reported in the province?
So the WHO will identify an outbreak and a measles alert if there's more than 2 cases in a country within a month. So yes, it is concerning, definitely.
Yeah, because we're also talking minors here, hence the reiteration of immunisations being absolutely important. Just emphasize that for us in terms of why caregivers and parents should make sure that immunisation rather is up to date.
So maybe I was just mentioned not just that immunisation. So what we found in COVID, unfortunately, children weren't vaccinated accordingly to their age and to the Road to Health chart. So we urge parents to please go back to the clinics to start vaccinating again, and especially with measles from 6 months and onwards. Measles is a very contagious disease. It spreads very quickly. The secondary infections is really, people are very sick. So, and you have a vaccine to cover this dreadful disease. So please go back to the clinic and get your 6-month child immunized. And then also we forget about the adults with the boosters. So people must actually get a booster. And if you're not sure if you had the vaccine and you can't remember, it won't do any harm to get we call it the mumps, measles and rubella vaccine as soon as possible.
Right. We also know that Gauteng officials are currently conducting, measles awareness campaigns in schools. How important is this to also go to where the children are educating, teachers, caregivers? I can imagine even with early childhood development, where there are caregivers there, and just so that there's a better understanding of what exactly measles is. So measles is, we call it a childhood disease, but actually everybody can get it. So it's like I said, a very highly contagious. It's contagious and it's spread like inhalation with droplets and direct contact. And people have fatigue. They feel like cold-like symptoms, and I don't want to even say it, but almost like COVID. When you start off with COVID with the high fever, and then after 4 days you get a rash. So mostly children aren't that sick. We're not talking about immunocompromised children, but adults, when they get it, they can get very sick. Secondary infections being bronchopneumonia. So that's really, again, it's a childhood disease that we can prevent. These campaigns actually run every 3 to 4 years. It's been an ongoing campaign from whenever I can remember, and that's the early 1980s. So absolutely, very important. It won't, like I said, do any harm to get an extra measles vaccine. They go throughout the schools, get all the children vaccinated. As you know, if you have that herd immunity, then your older people and your immunocompromised grandfathers and grandmothers won't get the measles, the childhood disease. Right. We know that 5 cases so far have been confirmed in the province, Lizeth, and you also mentioned that it's a highly contagious virus. Is there a possibility that this number may increase, especially if we don't heed the call you're making this morning in terms of vaccinations and making sure that the immunization books for the young ones are up to date, etc.? Is there a possibility that the number we're seeing on our screens right now, 5 confirmed cases in Gauteng, may increase?
Yeah, absolutely. If people don't get vaccinated, children don't get vaccinated, as I said, highly contagious. We don't wear masks anymore. Most of us don't wear masks anymore. People go out, which I understand. I mean, it's been a dreadful 2.5 years. But unfortunately, that's definitely going to increase the infections. And it's a notifiable disease. So if you have any of the symptoms, you have to actually get tested. And that must be notified. Now, unfortunately, people think it's only common cold. They don't feel that, they feel bad, but it thinks flu or common cold or whatever, and they don't go to the clinic. Then we don't know of the infections. So, yeah, definitely it can spread.
if people don't vaccinate.
Yeah, and just lastly before I let you go, once you've recognized the symptoms you've mentioned, how can you treat measles?
So we normally don't really treat measles itself, we treat the symptoms. Isolation, keep away from close contacts, and then look out for the secondary infections like a bronchopneumonia. So we treat the symptoms, with a high fever and fatigue, and then obviously just stay in bed. With children, we try to keep them a little bit in a darker room because your eyes get infected, and they get So it's more close contact. Don't isolate. No close contact, and then treat symptoms.
Well, I appreciate you joining us this morning, Lizeth, and bringing us this point of caution for all of us to make sure that we stay safe and protect, and also protect the little ones. Lizeth Kruger, Clinics Executive for DisChem Pharmacies. Thank you for your time.